Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad that you're here today. You look beautiful in your red, white, and denim. We're going to celebrate our souls this morning.
That's right. You are in the right place at the right time. Happy 4th of July. Let's all sing about it.
That I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your souls are welcome. All our souls are welcome here. Yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be in my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Come on, I can't hear you. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, sing it out. And my soul is welcome here. Yeah. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah.
Well, good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you.
Good morning,
We
Reverend.
have an exuberant group here this morning. I can tell by the people.
And good morning, Reverend Jay. So welcome back. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to see everyone.
And we greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving energy of this community's Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and of course the beautiful, beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if this is your very first time with us today, whether you are online or on site, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're just excited to have you with us today. It's a long weekend. We get to wear a lot of red and white and blue. And we also ask that you silence your electronic devices and please no flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Well, let's take a moment and connect with His presence. And remember that no matter what we're going through or growing through in our life or in our world, that we're always surrounded by a divine sea of love. For this is the main quality of this presence that we call God, or we call the force or the divine. And as we come under his government and guidance, we know that little things are going to be all right. We recognize it will guide us to do what we're to do in the right moments, to say what needs to be said at the time that we need to say it. It will help us navigate through the challenges in which we may be experiencing. And it's there for us to lean on in times of need and times of comfort. And we can rest assured that all is well. And we can always choose to make this the activity of our life. And as we do, we can come forth and speak words of gratitude and thanksgiving. So today we remember the truth of who we are. Truth that there's a presence we can always turn to. It is truth that liberates us and sets us free in so many levels of our life, in so many areas of our life. Because the only thing that is enduring, that does not change in any way, shape, or form, is the presence. It's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And for this, we are grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part from this awareness, from this consciousness, to anchor a little bit more of heaven, which is ever expanding good in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be.
Amen.
Amen. Well, we have an important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center that's reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out these 5 basic universal principles that we believe in and make them the activity of our life and incorporate them as our belief system and live from them. And we invite you once again to join with me as we affirm them together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. Well, today's the first Sunday in July. Any July birthdays? We invite you to please stand. We can sing to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday.
And we give thanks for all of the birthday babies for July. And also thank you, Shirley Brown, for these flowers. They remind me of the flames of freedom. They're beautiful. Yeah.
And at this time, I think we have a video we're going to show for our upcoming event.
Yes, I want to remind everybody, we've been talking about it for a few weeks, that the fabulous Matt Venuti will be here this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That's July 6th. And I thought we'd play the video again so you can hear a little bit of his music again and listen to what he has to bring.
Hi, I'm Matt Venuti, and I'm here to introduce you to a very unique performance opportunity that I call the Ultima Zone. The live music itself is one of the portals into this magical zone, I improvise music to stunning and majestic video footage that I've captured from years of touring the country. Some of the instruments that I play include the 8-octave range wind synthesizer called the electronic valve instrument, and also the Hung, H-A-N-G, from Bern, Switzerland, an amazing sound sculpture. The Wave, a brand new instrument that is made by a friend of mine that almost sounds like a crystal bowl but has its own uniquely beautiful characteristics.
slcworld.org and register and bring your friends. It's going to be a wonderful evening. See you there.
I believe you can also register at the hub if you're here on site.
Oh,
so,
yes, the
yeah.
hub.
Yeah,
In person.
Excellent. Excellent. Very creative person, I'll tell you.
He's amazing. How many
Yeah.
people have experienced his work before? Yeah, it's definitely worth it. So each year, our Spiritual Life Center chaplains dedicate themselves to a year of sacred service. Now, we haven't done this for a couple of years because, well, you know. So, their dedication ceremony is next Sunday. It will be at the 11 o'clock service, and we invite you to share this sacred moment with them. After the service, you can join the chaplains for a reception out in the courtyard. I think they've ordered a special cake, and they would love to meet you, because someone told me the other day that they've been praying with someone for 2 years, and they've never met in person. So it'll be an opportunity to meet the chaplains and to pray with them. So next Sunday at 11 o'clock is the chaplain dedication. We'd love to see you all here to support them.
And we're also inviting you to come to our Board of Trustees Thrive Committee community meeting that's going to take place Sunday, July the 17th, between 1 and 2:30. And in that meeting, we bring you the update of what's going on in the community, where we are in our process, what our visions are, where we are financially. And so we have you involved in holding the vision of where we are to where we want to be. So we invite you to be part of that, because it's a collective effort that we want to be all on the same page as we move forward as a community. So we invite you to be there just to get information about where we are as a community.
And we have the cabaret coming up. This is our first year of a cabaret, and we're really excited about it. Entertainment will abound. We have professional musicians and shower singers, humorous skits, poetry readings, lip syncs, dancers, group sing-alongs, and I'm not quite sure what else. Every time I look around, something else has been added to the list. Paul is helping organize that part of it. So let's come together for this fun fundraiser on Friday, July 29th. The social hour is at 6, and the cabaret starts at 7 o'clock, and tickets are available online and, of course, on site.
And I did look at the list. Somehow my name is on that list. I have no idea.
I don't know. Have any, you know, this reverend can cut a rug.
It was
So
like,
it's a surprise to me, and it's going to be a surprise to you, whatever I do.
yeah, and they came to me and said, James is doing something. Deborah, will you do something?
Oh. Well, also, as you know, in our Spiritual Life Center community, we give to mission-compatible organizations that are doing wonderful things in the community. And at this moment, we're going to have a video introducing our guest person, who is a representative of the community that we are supporting as a collective. And so here we go with Carrie Freeman, who's going to do the introduction.
My name is Carrie Freeman. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to introduce Haven for Birth, which is a nonprofit for July. Thank you, Community Giving Program, and board and everybody there at SLC. I actually was introduced to Haven for Birth by Julie Interrante, a friend of SLC. whose chiropractor is one of the co-founders. It's a small world. I was struck by this nonprofit personally because when I was in the womb and then later adopted, my biological mother had a rough time being supported during her pregnancy, which was unwanted at the time. So it gives me great comfort to know there are loving doulas in the world, especially in Sacramento, who help support and encourage and respect and empower women during this very profound experience of childbirth. So I'd like to introduce one of the co-founders, Liz Kenish, and she will tell you more about what Haven for Birth does. Thank you. Have a great day.
Here's Liz.
Thank you for having me. That was powerful already. I wasn't expecting that. My name is Liz. I am one of the co-founders of Haven for Birth. We are a nonprofit in Sacramento that supports the birthing community. We do that, I'll backtrack. A doula is somebody who supports a person in labor with emotional and physical support. Like, we're not doctors, we're not trying to help them with anything medical. We're just there as an auntie, a grandma, a sister, just a friend to be there with them and make sure that they are aware of their choices and are getting the treatment that they deserve. We have a focus at Haven on the Black and Brown communities who have the most injury and death related to childbirth currently in the United States. And so we do this support with a group of 8 women. We offer the doula care for prenatal and also postpartum. We also have a chiropractor on staff, that's Heidi. I'm a massage therapist. We have counseling services available and fitness classes. So it's kind of a broad spectrum of all the things that you're gonna cover when you're pregnant, while you're going through that birthing process. And support from organizations like yours help us to be able to pay our doulas for the services that they're providing, which is also a very valuable resource. And it also helps us with education costs, like to be able to provide ongoing education for the clients as well as the doulas. And I just wanted to say thank you for having us. It's a beautiful organization here as well. This community has been very gracious to me, just even in the little bit that I've been here. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Liz. And on behalf of Spiritual Life Center, I'd like to give you this $1,000 check to support your community and the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And remember, you can find out everything that's going on at SLC by going out to the courtyard, looking at the bulletin board, talking to the people at the hub, and of course, anything you could possibly want to know about SLC is on our website.
Well, at this time, we invite any of our chaplains and board of trustees that are here this morning to please stand. And the chaplains are doing the very important work. They're wearing the white stoles, and if you need prayer for something or just want to have prayer for some good news in your life, it doesn't always have to be challenging stuff. They're available just to celebrate with you, so we appreciate them and their consciousness and what they bring. So thank you for your presence, dear chaplains. And then our board members that are here this morning, they do extremely important work as well. They kind of help to set the direction and the strategy and kind of keep us moving forward as a collective community. They bring their time, their talent, and their skills in order for us to do that, and they're doing great work. And if you have any questions, they're available to answer questions for you. So we thank our board members that are present here this morning for their work and presence.
And we love to greet our newcomers, so in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at Spiritual Life Center. And you can get more information about that by filling out our welcome card. That welcome card is available online, and you can go to our website, fill out the card, and submit it. Or if you're here on site and raise your hand, keep it up until we find you. But if you raise your hand and fill out that card and take it out to the courtyard, to the welcome table, there's a very special gift and a warm welcome for you.
So if anyone's here for the very first time, we just invite you to raise your hand. Any first time, just keep your hand up. Thank you so much. And we'll give you that card that you can complete. Also, we give Liz one. She's here for the first time. And we support you on your journey, whatever that may be, as you move to becoming the very best person that you can. And so we thank you, we appreciate you, and we behold the magnificence that you are, because we see everyone as having that magnificence within them. Now, at this time, we just invite folks not only to greet folks that here are new, but to greet each other in a way you can say.
Let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know. Oh, blessed be, I've outgrown those smaller dreams, the way they used to limit me. I make the space, invite them in, magic fills my life again. Ooh,
Dance break.
yeah, come on, let's dance. I'm gonna set it free and let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free. Oh, blessed be. I'm gonna set it free and let things be. Let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free. Oh, blessed be.
take a nice deep breath together. Settle into that heart space. Let's speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate spiritual deepening with divine, each other, and our planet. And now we have another new one. This is from Karen Drucker, beautiful chant.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment I feel love. I feel love. In the stillness of this moment I feel love. I feel love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I feel love. Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet love. In the stillness of this moment I am free. I am free. In the stillness of this moment I am free. I am free. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am free. Oh, I am free. I am love. I am love. I am peace. I am love and peace.
As we move breath, slowly exhale. And in the next cycle of breaths, allow your body to relax. Drop your shoulders. Relax your eyelids. And bringing your focus inward, breathe naturally, allowing your consciousness to float up and away into a light daydream. As you stand on a high cliff overlooking the ocean, you hear the waves crashing into the rocks below. The blue ocean touched by the sun spreads out before you. Billowy white clouds dot the pure blue of the sky, and a salty breeze ruffles your hair, caresses your face. Lazy seabirds play on the wind, and they coast in the sunlight, and they seem so free. You imagine what it is like to fly, to be so free of earthly restraints. So standing high on this cliff, you open your arms and throw back your head, pretending with all your heart that you have wings. And in the next breath, you do. You have wings. And as you carefully move them up and around, you begin to lift off the ground. Gently and slowly, you rise up into the air. With just a little bit of experimentation, you figure out how to use these wings. Fly out over the ocean, skimming along the water, and then as you gather speed, soar up into the sky again, going higher and higher and higher until you level off and allow the wind to take you. Here, soaring high above the earth, dancing with the sun and the sky, you are light and free and clear. From this altitude, you have a different perspective, and you realize that in a real sense, you do have wings, and you can rise above earthly restrictions whenever you want. With this knowing, you feel even freer, and you bask in joy and gratitude and confidence as you coast into the silence. Taking a breath, you begin to flap your wings and joyfully fly back toward the cliff where you began. The sun is setting, sending rays of gold, red, and pink across the sky. And you gently settle down onto the cliff and fold your wings against your body. As you take another breath, absorb the wings into your body, knowing that they are within you and that you can use them whenever you desire. And as you begin to return to your body, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, you are free to be yourself. To be yourself is exactly why you came to earth. When you are courageous and allow your true self to emerge, it is then that you are free, completely free. Remember this, always.
this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only
Thank you, Laree. What was the first line of that song? I know who I am. Oh yeah, I was trying to put you in this moment, in this place. But it was something about I know who I am. Yes, I remember who I am. Yes, I remember who I am. Well, anyway, I used to be a time that I used to say, my name is James. I'm a recovering lawyer. And I said I was going to have some conversation with some friends that are still lawyers, and maybe they're retired lawyers. And we were talking a little bit about some of the hearings taking place in Congress recently, and lawyers were going to be very, how should I say, crass in our humor. And we were saying things like, when your lawyer needs to hire a criminal lawyer because of the way they're representing you, you got a problem. But it also reminded me when I was early in my legal career. When I first came out of law school, there used to be a time that lawyers could not advertise. A lot of people don't know that. They have to look it up in Google. It was prohibited. But now you see them on billboards and radios and TV and on the internet and, it's just like advertisers everywhere. But back then, it was actually unethical to advertise. And once I first came out of law school, it happened around that time that the Supreme Court said, this violates the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And that was around the time the Supreme Court used to make decisions based upon constitutional theory and reasoned legal opinion. But that's another story. But I remember I had gotten together with one of my friends back in that time. We used to do some work together. And we were kind of set together, we're going to put together an ad for our practice. And we were just kind of brainstorming one day. And I said, I know what we can do. We'll go ahead and get one of our former clients that we used to represent in this criminal case, and we'll dress him up and make him look real good. And we'll go outside of a jail, and he'll start saying, I used to be in there. And you'll see people in there that are now still in there, and they're in, handcuffs and all of that stuff and striped uniforms. And he would say, I used to be in there, but now I'm out here. And if you want to be out here, then you need to hire these guys to get you from out there to in here, out here. So anyway, we're coming up with all of that. But here's a point for today. Many people are outside the walls of a jail, but they're still in bondage. They're still in bondage. Many people are reactors, dreaming that they're free, even though their bodies are not confined in any way, but their minds are in bondage. Because oftentimes they're living from their past. They're living from a past experience that they've gone through. They're living from a past hurt that they've gone through, some shame they've experienced, some denials that they've had, and they're bringing them into the present moment, and it's limiting their ability to freely live today. That's because they're living from their history, and they're not in the present moment because they're reacting to something that's taking place in the here and the now, but they're thinking that they're free. I had a little experience like that this morning, and my mind was kind of running because, my car went to Sparks Art this morning, and so I had to call a Lyft to get here. And so the guy was like taking me down this, usually I get right on the freeway, get here in a few minutes, and he was taking me around this back road, and it's like 4 or 5 different ways you can get to the freeway, and I had never gone this way before, so my mind is going like, what is he doing? I've never taken this road before, and I was kind of in bond to my own thinking, and I had to realize that, I don't have to think that way. I'm just learning another way to get here. Change my whole perspective. But oftentimes people are living their life based upon the circumstances. Something that's happening right now, maybe from their past, and they're not letting that go. But we can choose liberty over bondage. No matter what is happening in the outside world or circumstances. I always remember one of my personal mentors, Nelson Mandela. Of course, I didn't personally have him mentor me, but he was mentoring me from afar. And he had been in prison in South Africa for 27 years because of his positions against apartheid in South Africa. And he was finally released, and he was being interviewed. And I remember there was a late night show, and he was being interviewed, and somewhere during the interviewer asked him, or noticed that, I noticed that, despite your unjust confinement for all those years, you have no bitterness. You have no anger. How is that? And he said to the interviewer, well, I do regret that I didn't have a chance to be with my wife during these 27 years. I do regret that I didn't have a chance to raise my children during this time. But I do remember a few things that the guards had done for me that were helpful, and they were kind to me. And so I decided to focus my attention on those things. And as a result, I have no bitterness. I have no anger. And although he was physically imprisoned, he was truly free. See, freedom is a gift of God. It is freely given. It's cultivated by a sincere desire to respond from the God presence within us. And I think this is a key milepost in the road to freedom. that despite circumstances, spiritual freedom is a choice. It comes from the realization that God is at our center and allowing it to be the activity of our awareness, our consciousness. So regardless of what's happening in the external world, there's an immediate and prolonged response that can be life-enhancing, and it lifts our life. It beautifies our experience. It heals us. It uplifts us. It is a dynamic presence that is there. Sometimes it takes an inner strength to have this kind of freedom and to realize we have that choice and not to react to what is going on, not to get caught up in the external world or what people believe how we should live, and not to react to the moment, and to stand in that eternal moment of the presence of God. But in order for us to do that, we have to make a choice. You know, I think I saw something on social media the other day. I was looking for the little video because I was going to show it today that kind of demonstrate our ability that we don't have to get caught up in the external world. And I couldn't find it, so, you know, I just have to talk about it. But it was a dog that was barking very loudly at another dog. And it was like, woof, 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 woof. And the other dog was just standing there, looking up, you know, not responding at all. And the dog got more and more ferocious, and then eventually he just gave up and left. But I realized that dog that didn't respond was exercising his choice. He could have responded in kind. He could have reacted. But he had something bigger on his mind. And I think the Spirit of the living God has something bigger on our mind that's here to catch our attention. But we must choose to give our attention to that. And for something to be a choice means that we have to be aware. Because choice and awareness are synonymous. Because without awareness, there is no choice. And we often react to what's going on. You know, we hear that scriptural reference that says, choose ye this day whom you shall serve. The reality is there's only one choice and one thing to serve, and that is the presence of God, the spiritual qualities of God, which are harmony and love and peace and patience and understanding and forgiveness. These things are eternal. Anything short of that is probably a reaction going on within us. You know, many people are reacting, thinking that they're choosing freely, but it's not a choice. You know, there was once a man who was driving in his car. He had his top down, and he was nice in a very nice, you know, hilly area, riding up the hill and just enjoying the day. It was a spring afternoon, and he was just really having a great time. And then someone was driving in the opposite direction, and the person yelled at him, "Pig, pig." Well, he was indignant. And he turned around and yelled back at the person, "You cow, you cow." And then he turned around and he hit a pig in the middle of the road. He didn't hear the message that there was a pig in the road. So the key milestone, need a little more laughter time here? So a key milestone to the roadmap to freedom is to realize that we always have a choice, but we have to be aware in order to respond to that pure place or from that pure place within us. Often has nothing to do with circumstances. But when we get to the point where we respond from that pure place within us, it can transform the experience, transform the moment. You know, we know that one of the most important practices helps us come from that place where we're responding and not reacting is engaging in continuous meditation and continuous affirmative prayer. And if we stop and we begin to sense our oneness with the presence of God. You know, oftentimes people always told me all the time when things are getting heightened and intense, the best thing to do is stop, become still, and you can connect to that presence. Because when we become still and we focus on the words that are coming out of our mouth, we deepen our connection with the Spirit of the living God. We deepen our connection with the force, and those moments can become transformational. So we want to become still individually and collectively and pull our attention away from the world of effects and connect to that inner strength, that character, that vitality, that vigor, that divine knowingness of the presence. And it becomes active in our awareness when we do that. And we move away from this fitful, sometimes changing, challenging world experiences, and we become different. We can become the transformative agents that can make a difference in our world because we're no longer judging by appearances. You know, as the master teacher says, judge righteously, not by appearances. And I think this is the part of the cultivation of having that inner strength to see rightly, to respond from a higher point of view. And sometimes we need to ask ourselves along the way, in order to come from that perspective, you know, what am I thinking now? Where are those thoughts coming from that I'm having? Because we generally hang out where our thoughts are. Our life is really corresponding what's taking place in our consciousness. You know, we've heard the saying that this is where I live. I live there. What people are thinking about all of the time really is where they live, regardless of what is going on outside of them. They're living in their thoughts most of the time. So when we think how other people show up in our world are bothering us, you probably don't have that, but you may know people that do. We realize more often than not that is our thoughts that is what's tormenting us, never the other people. I remember I was on a job years ago, a newspaper I worked at, and there was always this one person that just got on my last nerve. I didn't even know the individual. But I was saying to myself, I don't know you, but I know your kind, and I don't like you. And I came to the understanding that it was not this person that was disturbing me. It was my thoughts about that person that was disturbing me. You know, one of my teachers said that we're never at war with another person. We're at war with our thoughts about the other person. Our thoughts hold us prisoner, but we're free to choose another thought. I was talking to Karen, who's here this morning. She was at a chaplain meeting Monday. She reminded me of something, and I may butcher it up a little bit. But she shared something about a spiritual teacher that says that, you know, sometimes if you want to kind of change your whole direction, you know, use this analogy of, you know, shift your weight to the other foot. I think that's goes something like that. Yeah, she's shaking her head like I almost got it right. And I think the idea from our perspective, if you have some pressure on one foot or one leg, what you need to do is just shift to the other. In the same way, we can shift our attention on how we see things and what we focus on. So the minute we shift our attention and place it on what is valid, what is real, what is God, then we have a completely different experience. So we realize that it's often our thoughts that are tormenting us, our thoughts that are keeping us in prison, not the other people, not even the circumstances that we go through. You know, in our human experience, we're always going to have ups and downs. That's part of life. Any given moment, we see stuff that we may call negative, we may call bad from the human experience. We may feel in bondage to that perspective. But when we exercise our freedom of choice, we shift our weight to the other foot. We will understand that there is an idea behind every experience that is perfection. There's an idea behind some picture that we see that's not good or not to our liking, where there's life there, there's love there. And we're able to say, yes, it's all good because it is all God. Because we are free from the belief there is some opposing power to God out there to get us. And we will know that within every seeming crisis, there is an opportunity for good to show up in our life. You know, I thought about that in my own experience where I went through my low point in life and ended up going to a drug rehab trying to get my life together. And I had a very challenging year or 2 years before that time. And I didn't realize at the time that I went into this place called Concept House. You know, it would change my whole way of seeing this experience. You know, I had an opportunity to go in depth and examine myself. I had a chance to engage in more self-assessment. And my perception of who I was and what reality could be took a dramatic turn over time. And I began to take my power back, and I released myself from my self-created bondage that my life was over. it was a transformational journey again for me. You know, there was a time, I think there was a young man who had gone to the hospital with his wife. You know, as we listen to the sharing of today and how sometimes in birth, you know, there's death. And at this moment, when he took his wife to the hospital for birth, she died in childbirth. And when he got the news, he left the hospital in a fit, in a rage against God. And he walked around in the city for hours and hours. And he came across this church. And he decided to go inside and sit in the church. No one else was there. It was quiet. It pretty much was dark. And out of the corner of his eye, he could see the cleaning woman had gone into the back room and began to wheel out a man in a wheelchair. And she began to speak to God, speak to herself, speak to him. He didn't really know. And he said that, you know, when you were born and you had so many deformities, I was so angry at God. But over the years, I began to realize that you taught me what love was about. And so I'm so grateful that you have been in my life for all of this time. And in that moment, that man who had walked in that room with anger and rage against the presence of God got up and he ran back to the hospital because he realized that he had a son to raise for the rest of his life. And that in the midst of that seeming tragedy, there was some good in there waiting to be expressed in his life. Sometimes along the way, we don't know what good is there. What tapestry of good is waiting to be expressed in our life. We don't know what new thing might be being born for us because we're in a loop of thinking maybe life is over. This is the end. You know, this weekend we are celebrating Independence Day. And of course, our basic history says it began with the American Revolution. And it had two parts to this journey. It was separating from the colonists of England. And the second part was birthing of a new country, or at least, well, that's one version of it, but there was going to be a new birth, a new vision. And I'm going to ask Brittany to put up a picture up there. If you see, there's a picture up there of the back of a dollar bill. And we see that on the dollar bill is the great seal of the United States, and it shows the Great Pyramid of Giza. And you notice that the capstone on the pyramid has been actually removed. And my understanding that the archaeologists and Egyptologists, nobody knows what happened to the capstone. You know, according to legend, initially there was that golden capstone that's there. And was painted in blue with the eye of Horus, which is the eye of the Christ presence. And when the sun hit the capstone, it would shine for miles around from the top of the pyramid when it was there. But all the Egyptologists and the archaeologists, they've never found the capstone. And there's a lot of different theories as to where it is. It might be beneath, between the spirit and the Sphinx. But legend holds, metaphorically, spiritually, that the Egyptian civilization was in major decline. And the Egyptian priests climbed to the top of the pyramid and removed the capstone. And they buried it because they knew the consciousness had fallen below the line. As we say in our course, The Quantum Living, they were living below the line. That was true of the people at that time. And they say the capstone would only be retrieved when the consciousness once again embraced its meaning. And its meaning is universal brotherhood. The eye of Horus. And that's on the dollar bill. And it says at the bottom, you may not be able to read it, it says, Novus Order Seclorum. It says, the new order of the ages. That's on the dollar bill. And the esoteric spiritual tales of Egypt say the capstone will be returned when universal brotherhood is made manifest. Should we choose to make it so? And that's why it says Thomas Jefferson, who had a lot of issues, but he said something, we must recourse to first principle in order to know the bright constellations in which we aspire. You know, we look at our world and sometimes the country today and the policies and say, well, it's the economic policies are the issue, the taxes are the issue, or the regulations or not regulations are the issue. And all of these are great legislative concerns, but the real issues are bigger than that because those are something that are a reflection of something deeper. The real issue are the core ideas and ideals or the spiritual solutions which make up for the great ideas from which the new shall emerge. This country was founded in terms of governmental systems in which is much effort and willingness to move to something different. Now, did the founders manifest that? They did not. Not many of them, of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, were slave owners themselves. Which is why the Thomas Jefferson said something to the effect, I tremble for my country when I consider God is just, and justice shall not sleep forever. But we can bring about justice by exercising our freedom of choice, of how we choose to show up in the world. Thank you. You can take that down. You know, this teaching that we call New Thought, which is not new, it's been around for thousands of years, but it's a body of philosophy that says this is a mature teaching. It's for that part of us that realizes that it is we who must change and not the world. It is we who must change and not the government. And as we weave ourselves into the fabric of our country and our world, we will move it to where it is, from where it is to where it can be. This world is transformed when we become willing to be that change, which is always a choice. To grow from God's glory to greater glory, we become the agents of transformation of the very planet and country in which we live. For as we change, as we grow, as we expand, as we identify with the true nature of our being and activate that, we become the vanguard of the very society in which we are living. The choice is ours. America is calling us to grow up. We need to grow up into our truth. As it says on our money, most people don't carry money around any day, but in God we trust. That's where the power is. That's where the truth is. And it's the truth that liberates us and makes us free. And that is the roadmap to our freedom. Peace and blessings to you. Well, I'll be back next week, and I'll be talking about healing on many levels, maybe spiritual, mental, physical, but do you want to be healed is the question that we want to ask ourselves. You know, at this time, I invite those who may be online that want to support this work and spread the consciousness that we teach at Spiritual Life Center. And if you'd like to support our community, you can do so by texting SLC Love to 44321. Just put in 44321, send it, and you can then click. I don't know. Anyway, put in 44321. It'll take you there. And you'll be able to go to the page. It'll make that donation. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the donate tab, and give in other ways, including by mail. And for those who are present, we invite you to take your gift, your love offering, and those who have been given already online or by electronic giving, we just know that we're all in that flow that says whatever we give comes back to us in many different ways. So at that, let us affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. Thank you for the
Took me 2 minutes.
What would you say if I told you about a love good to be real? Would you reply that you've heard it a million times? Oh, you throw up your hands, never understand, turn and walk away, cry another tear. I know where you're coming from. I was searching for the road that would lead me home, where I'm free, free to believe what is real to me, free, free to believe Spirit lives in me. La 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 la, la 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 la, I'm free. How would you feel if love fell in your arms with the tenderness of a child? Would you be able to finally open your eyes? Oh, love so strong, it never begs, it never borrows, it never steals from anyone. Even if I bend, even if I sway, even if I lose my way, I will always come home, where I'm free, free to believe what is real to me, free, free to believe Spirit lives in me. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Oh yeah, I'm free to love, free to dance, free to live your life with open hands of reach for the way closer to the edge. You'll hear the music play, awakening all that once was slumbering's alive again, where I'm free, free to believe what is real to me, free, free, oh, believe Spirit lives in me, oh, 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 hey, oh, 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 I'm free, yeah, I'm free, free to believe what is real to me, oh, I'm free, free to believe Spirit lives in me, oh,
free. Yeah. I feel freer now that you sung that song. Well, we bless those who have given today to support our community, to spread this message, recognizing that we always have a choice on where we're going to focus our attention, what foot we'll put our weight on, and we can change direction at any moment. This is our freedom of choice that's always available to us. We recognize that many have put prayers in the prayer box. And so we affirm and see and know that the Spirit of the living God, the force, the divine, has already provided the answer for each and every one of them. As the statement goes, before they call, I've already answered you. It may come in a way that we didn't understand or from a direction that we didn't think of, but know that Spirit is always there. And so we affirm right and perfect outcomes for all those who have left their prayers. And know that these prayers will go on to be sent to Silent Unity for an additional 30 days of prayer. As they are in that prayer consciousness, that vibration, the Spirit of God will be revealed through and as each and every one of us. So we go forth this day knowing that freedom is always there for us because we have the ability to choose at any moment, and we choose God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, with that, let us join together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. I am, and all is well. And with that, let us join together as we sing our peace song.
Stick around, we got a little special for you.
All righty.
I wrote lyrics off of your talk.
Oh, wow,
Let's see
okay.
how they go. And Russell wrote the tune.